We're live here at HCIC in Austin, Texas.
Podcasters are today's influencers, so you included.
I'm no influencer. Being a little bit modest. He's modest, guys. You're not deliberately being a competitor. You're just better at it. We're here live at HCIC in beautiful Austin, Texas. Almost as warm as Florida.
Almost as warm.
Almost as warm. You're a little warmer. And I'm sitting here with my great friend, a longtime friend and colleague, Val Lopez. Val, would you mind sharing with people who you are?
Sure. Thanks for having me. My name is Val Lopez, AVP of Marketing Operations at Baptist Health South Florida. Been in healthcare marketing now for about 15 years, so kind of the veteran now. But yeah, we're a 12 hospital system down in South Florida. From Palm Beach all the way down to the Keys, so we kind of have the southern part of the state. That's our geographic footprint. So it's a good space to be in. You know?
And you've been in this space for as long as I have.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot.
Absolutely.
And today our topic is going to be about, as I affectionately call it, the P word.
The P word. Yes.
Personalization.
Yes.
Okay. So let's get this off the table here. When you say personalization, I think it means different things for different people.
It sure does.
Share with me your perspective. What is personalization?
It's an attempt to get to one-to-one marketing, right? I don't think you can get there quickly or easily.
Yeah.
It's an evolution. It takes work, but it's really about the expectation that people have, right? They're in other industries, right? They're being communicated to in a personalized manner, right? So why not healthcare, right? So. Obviously, we have challenges and things we have to hop over. But yeah, it's been an interesting kind of evolution.
So our challenges are like HIPAA, legal and compliance. There's some challenges, right? Because I think there's a lot of a perspective that we have to be very secure with our patient data. We don't want to, say, hey, look, thanks for coming in. For doing your bariatric surgery, lap band surgery.
Right.
Now let's talk to our therapist. We can't get that personalized, right?
Exactly.
How does personalization contextualize it here for healthcare? What does that really look like?
I think it's really about just understanding where your patient or that consumer is in their journey, right? While you may want to utilize data to kind of educate where clinically that person may be in their journey, so on and so forth, in the execution, right? You're not going to bring those things in, right? But understanding what to serve up, when to serve it up, right place, right time, right? I think that's really kind of the crux in healthcare, right? That's what you're trying to.
And the favorite person goal, right? We're trying to understand our consumers' patients
exactly
in a way where they feel unique and individuals. They're just not like another, orthopedic.
Yeah, and it's in addition to an effectiveness, it's an efficiency play, right?
Yeah.
That mammal message that you're just blasting to everybody, right? There's a good portion of that is waste, right? Yeah. So just trying to be more efficient. We're all in a dollars crunch, right? There's no net new dollars necessarily coming our way from a marketing perspective. Right. So that's just another angle, right?
That's a really good point that you brought up there. But we all know that on the surface, it sounds really easy and a simplistic goal.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to get there.
It's really hard. So we are about 2 years into it, right?
Wow.
We've kind of, year one was an interesting experience. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yes.
So we had architected what we thought was a really smart strategy, a crawl, walk, run strategy, right? We were going to do some easy wins, right? And crawl and kind of, well, when we started doing these crawl use cases, we realized we couldn't do them.
Give me an example. What's a crawl use case?
Simple things like just, based on behaviors and signals, personalizing a homepage, right? Just around the service lines that user may be interested in, right? You need data, all those things take time, right? So we actually had to roll back and we came up with a set of use cases that were even simpler, and we called them tummy time.
Tummy time?
Tummy time, right?
Yeah.
Before you walk, there's tummy time.
Yeah. So tell me about tummy times.
Yeah. So it's a set of use cases that we got to learn, cut our teeth with. There were successes, there were failures, right? But it kind of got you into the game, and you kind of understood what to expect, right? And a lot of this is not only data, but from a content perspective, right? It's a huge burden, right? You're going, we're in the South Florida market, so we do everything in English and Spanish. So we're always used to doing 2 versions of most things. But now when you're personalized, you may be, there may be a dozen messages for a specific initiative, right? So the content burden is a lot more, right? So
Under the surface, there's a lot that goes on.
yeah.
This is a lot more than just personalizing an email or even like the language, right? There must be a lot of different types of signals that build your personalization strategy. You can share a couple of examples of things that you look for?
Some of the easy ones are, some of those tummy time use cases, right? So English and Spanish, right?
Yeah.
The user would come to the site and would decide, do I want to go to the Spanish site? Well, now you know that user is, a Spanish language user. So every time they come back, let's just send them to the Spanish site, right? Let's just default them there, right? So those were some of the simple things that kind of got started, and then we started to kind of graduate to more the service line approach, right? So we've got, cancer care acquisition kind of journey where we're nurturing, somebody's interests and behaviors when they're coming to the site and kind of looking at cancer content, understanding from a disease site, right? Cancer is very broad. Where cancer, right? What doctors apply to you, right? We're finding that they're not just coming one time, right? So that second, third visit, how can I personalize that content and that delivery to them to make it more convenient, right? I really nurture them right through that, right? When you have big time news like a cancer diagnosis, you're in shock, you're gathering information, you may not be ready to a point, right? So that may take time, understanding the breadth of your program, all the other things that you offer, why you're the right choice. Those are all things to consider, right? So
yeah, I think that's really interesting, right? To think about that. And again, it's like you're learning from that. The one thing I have a question for you though, you have to have a really good pulse on what that person wants.
Absolutely.
And their preferences.
Absolutely.
Have there been any aha moments and you're like, oh, we thought that healthcare consumers would respond this way, but they are responding this way?
Yeah, there are, right? So I would say that, the biggest thing about personalization is before you even start to execute, you got to start collecting the data, right? Yeah. So whatever the technology is collecting data, that's got to run for a period of time, right? We call it moments of clarity. Once you start to get that data and you start to analyze that data, you may have some assumptions going into it. And then when you analyze that data, you're like, oh, here's a moment of clarity. That's really not how it works, right? Yeah. So it's interesting to see that play out.
I'm excited to see where this is going to go in the future because we know this is a long-term.
It's a long-term. It's going to be multi-channel, right? So, we have web experiences, email experiences. We're bringing in call center data now, how we would personalize a call center experience, so on and so forth. So.
Wow, that's great. Well, I guess that speaks to the fact, when you're on your personalization journey, don't forget tummy time and don't forget really understanding your customer.
Absolutely.
And being able to respond to that. Thanks again, Val, for sitting here and talking with us a little bit.
Great.
Great to see you.